Romancing the Dungeon is intended for mature audiences, as this show contains adult themes. Oh, not those kind of adult themes, I'm being told. Just sensitive stuff that some audience members may find upsetting. Content warning for specific episodes can be found in episode descriptions. Where can I go to find some of those other adult themes? You're listening to Romancing the Dungeon, a softcore D&D podcast about heroes navigating their daily lives while looking for love in a world full of peril, monsters, and heartbreakers. Last time on Romancing the Dungeon.
Peggy, where in the heck's name have you been? Well, you remember that fella? Really tall, air of sadness and forlorn about him. Wanted to rent out one of my ponies but didn't have a permit. Sort of. Did he look kind of like he had the weight of the world burdening his shoulders? As if he lost something and hadn't quite figured out what? Or how to find it again? Yep, that's him. Well, he hired me to bring him out to Dragon's Reach Pass, and well, you know me, I can't say no to a sad fella. That's how Peggy met her third husband. So I took him out there, and well, I wasn't sure he'd make it. But he did. The fool climbed the mountain dressed in what I can only describe as not appropriate mountain climbing attire. I reckon he probably got out there in search of something. As if something called to the very depths of his soul. When he was desperate enough for answers, he probably faced all kinds of dangers. And I had a discern that just when he'd find out what he was looking for, he'd land himself in a world of danger and hurt. So me being the shrew Peggy that I am, well, I called the city guards. And wouldn't you know it, they were also looking for him. Seems he's some famous fella, and they weren't meant to let him out of their sights. So, what you're saying is... Yep, Peggy saved the gosh darn day again. Devoted desire to dreamy or dirty. Dapper dates for dejected daters. My name is Roz Grapers, founder, CEO, and love wizard. And I'm currently gathering signatures to petition the Academic Council of Mistian University to overturn their decision and restore doctorhood on yours truly. We're just 9,997 signatures away from having my doctorship returned. So act now and get 1 month's free subscription to D8 services. On with the questionnaire, and I think it's Cael's turn. They're doing that whole separated story arc, tales of whatever it is. Ugh.
I think the key thing really is respect for oneself and your partner and their time and the fact that they might not really want to be around you or spend any time with you, but also you really do need to be available for me whenever I kind of feel like it.
Cael, I mean, you being of a certain vintage, that sounds like you're describing some sort of home help or nurse assistant.
Roz, I did ask you not to do this.
To do what? I mean, I've lined up several successful healers that can help you chew your food, climb the stairs, do your shopping. They'll even read a newspaper or two to you with your vision faltering.
Can we stop, please? Cael's going to meet up with a friend called Minaria. On the way, he will stop to pick her up a nice little bouquet of flowers and, I don't know, some cold cuts.
What every woman...
Bouquet of cold cuts.
Yes, meats in various floral shapes.
There you go.
Okay. So you're heading to meet Minaria, and you want to stop and get some flowers and meats.
Yeah.
Okay. Cael, you're heading for the night market and you need to pick up flowers, you need to pick up cold cuts. You can get all those things in the night market.
Let's say it's a charcuterie. He's
Okay.
rethought the cold cuts.
Okay.
Originally, he was just doing it for the sake of being cheap, but he does have money.
Okay. So you just adjacent to the cold cut shop, there's a charcuterie shop. Don't ask questions. And you've managed to grab a small bouquet of posies and sprigged grass. Very cute, very quaint. Minaria loves posies, so it'll be fine. Flowers aside, she's a sucker for a well-ornamented plate of meat and cheeses. So that's your next stop. And you do get a small little personal charcuterie board for her. It's wrapped up rather nicely in a lovely linen cloth. And you continue further into the night market. You're well under the castle bridge, and you've disappeared kind of into the deeper end of the night market here that sits under the castle. And it doesn't take long. Minaria is a fortune teller. She is a tarot card reader and diviner of all things mystical. She's also a close contact of yours, so someone that you've come to rely on for a number of reasons. Not only does she have the ability to get a read on people. People tend to tell her a lot of things. And there's the fact that she is connected to the King of Thieves and has been reporting on their activities to you for some time. She's sitting at her stall in full costume. Minaria is not a fortune teller. She's an actor playing a fortune teller. And set across from her, you see two very eager-looking halflings, a couple holding hands, newlyweds. They run away in tears.
Wow, I take it was good news.
Oh, well, if you take a seat, she's her back turned to you for a second. If you take a seat, I will be most certainly good and happy to deliver excellent news of fortune and tidings to you. And she turns to you as well. Please, a seat. The happy couple are just overjoyed with the news that their relationship will last at least 6 months.
Oh, that's plenty of time to get everything you need to do done.
Certainly, that's what I had said.
For you,
Oh,
presents the flowers.
oh, flowers. How kind. I'm afraid it's still going to have to be 15 silver pieces for a reading, of course, but the flowers are... Oh, thank you very much.
He takes out the charcuterie.
Oh, charcuterie board. Okay, forget the 15 silver pieces. Oh, Minaria. Oh, the flowers kind of go behind her in a hurry. The charcuterie board is out, and she's already got like a slice of cured pork in her mouth, and she's kind of half chewing on it. So, what exactly is it that you are hoping to learn today?
Oh, I was just checking in. Your last missive was interesting.
You know, the cards, they always, they tell very interesting tales.
Of course, yes. And I was just wondering, have there been any updates or any changes? And I thought maybe I could actually ask you one or two questions, or maybe get you to what's the word? Snoop.
Well, in the business, we like to say divine.
Sorry, that's the one, my mistake.
But I will snoop. And again, she's another handful of cured meat, and she's kind of half chewing on it, like half sucking on the fat as well. The cards, and she just, they're telling me, and her hand is just... She flips over one, and it's a blanket piece of paper. There is whispers of war, conflict, big conflict, visage. Oh, the king, Gaeta Empress. Oh, much conflict. But there is a proposed that may see the kingdoms bonded in most harmonious matrimony.
Oh, that's beautiful. You love love. And I suppose it's for everyone's benefit then if war doesn't go ahead. Presumably, there's no one who'd wish ill on such a beautiful, splendidful thing.
Oh, I'm having another vision from the cards. Oh, how clear, how precise. No, there are plenty of people who would rather see the kingdoms plunged into war. Oh, so many arms dealers. Oh, Kappa's anvil overrun with mechanization production. Oh, the city under a cloud of smog, mass-produced armory. Oh.
Will be dreadful.
Terrible. Oh, my vision. Oh, and the vision's gone.
Yeah, understandable. Actually, and he fishes out 15 silver. That's part and parcel of things. Those were a gift. That's fine.
The 15 silver's gone.
I would expect no less. Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. So it does. And I've been away for a while and I've found some new traveling companions and some stuff happened and now I'm kind of embroiled up in all their stuff and we're on our way to the palace, don't you know?
The cards are telling me, yes, that you are on the way to the palace, that I know.
Yeah, and I'm curious as to what state I might find the palace in now.
Let me see. The palace right now is... And she opens an eye and she's looking under her. Right now there is... there's a lot of confusion right now in the palace. So many things happening. The king, the advisors, the council. So much disarray. If you are wondering when approximately you might be meeting the king, I would say in exactly 4 weeks.
Well, that's so good because we met the advisors and they seem to think it would be a long, drawn-out process.
That is the work of Oren. He doesn't really see the point in dealing with the fringe cities and their complications. He thinks the king has more pressing matters in mind, like the war, as I previously mentioned. But there are those who think that the king should probably see you and figure out just what happened to all those undead creatures and where they came from. And was that actually an attack from Visage? Who knows?
Oh, of course. Okay, interesting. I hadn't assumed that it was kind of because of Visage. It might, these things sometimes have simpler explanations like, old gods and stuff. Normal stuff.
Agnostic.
Oh, yeah, of course. Who knows? But spirituality is important,
But yes, spirits are very important. I like to imbibe at least twice a day.
Have you started?
Well, one to get the day started and one to see you through the afternoon.
Of course. Tried doing that with go-go juice the other day. Didn't pan out.
I know, the carrots told me.
Yes.
As did my cousin in Littlehorn.
Understandable. Okay. Well, look, that's lots. Anything else juicy? Just anything else? Doesn't have to be scandal.
Cards, scandal. So much scandal in the city. Well, it seems that the favored Tarquin from the restaurant to be at this season has actually been buying his meat from a processing plant and not necessarily farm fresh from outside city.
Wow. Okay. Thank God I didn't get that charcuterie from...
You best not have, or my next reading may not be as favorable.
Of course. No, that's absolutely fine. Thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure coming and seeing, and I like what you've done for the place. It's kind of seasonal, isn't it?
Well, that wasn't actually intentional. The guards and me, the taxes I hadn't paid, they came, they smashed, they grabbed, so I had to do a couple of things. I had to fix it up a small bit.
I could mending the place up a bit if that would...
Oh, no, it's a lot easier to take down and bring home.
Understandable, yeah. Okay. Now, to brass tacks, there's one or two things I would like you to kind of do some digging on. If you could just keep an eye... I know you have people in... You know some people in... You have family in Tazrab, don't you?
Yeah. I have a sister. Just a bitch.
Of course. Just curious about the Burbages. There's a little bit of a play going for kind of a government position that may be of some interest there. Mother seems to have gone wandering. If you do come across anything there, slightly more difficult.
Oh, the cards are telling me that if I was to be spying on a possible member of the Tarot, that I might possibly end up dead. So if you really want that, it has to be at least 15 gold pieces, and her hand is already out.
He places the 15 gold pieces in her palm, but grabs the hand and says, "Don't end up dead."
I have absolutely no intention of it, but if you don't actually quite remember or recall, you are the one that will most likely end up dead if you cross her again.
Again?
Oh, it was all the talk. You.
No, it wasn't.
The hanged man, yes. You are marked. For her daughter. If anything happens to her daughter that you are involved in or do not act to help her daughter, then she sends hanged man after you.
What the fuck?
Slip your mind?
What the fuck? When did this come across?
Several weeks ago. I assumed everything was fine. The daughter's alive. Then you're for alive. That's okay. You've just been running around countryside not caring your daughter?
I know, terribly unlike me, but there's like a tiny lapse in my memory over that period, and that is literally the only time it could have happened in. That's vital. You've done me a great service there. That's fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so maybe let's rescind that last piece. Keep the gold.
The gold is gone. Like you're all slowing your hand, but let's energize.
Keep the gold. Rescind that last bit. Let's hold off on that. Although, she seems like she might be in trouble. I mean, that's not your problem. It's not my problem. It's kind of her problem. Should be fine. No? No?
Mr. Adorous, it has never really been my place to tell you your place. You come to my place, you pay me, I tell you things that I have learned, things that I have seen, things that I have snooped.
Mm-hmm.
Your involvement with this Burbage girl and her mother, the Empress. And she gestures for you to get in very, very close. I have heard that the Tower and the Hermit are in the city as well.
Their presence is not necessarily a concern. Depending on the reasoning. I will say I've maybe been taking my time on this job a little bit. But hey, technically one's down. So that's a win. That is also important information. I would not ask you to do any more on that, but I will keep my eye out. There is one minor bit of snooping. Do you know this real do-gooder captain of the guard called AJ?
The name sounds familiar.
About yay high. Handsome. Traditionally.
Oh.
Chiseled.
Yes, it's coming clearer.
Devil with a bow.
Yes. Julius Steele. Night Scout.
Yeah, that's the one. He's
Tight buttocks.
Tight buttocks. Well, yes. I've noticed. You don't really need to do much snooping for that, mind you. The uniform is way tighter than you'd expect, right?
That's so flattering.
Yeah, pretty good. Look, that's taxpayers' money going well spent. He's going to be with us for the time being. He's taken an interest in the Burbage girls specifically. No one's that on the up and up. No one's that on the up and up. You know, except you and me.
You wish me to dig divine up some dirt?
Absolutely.
Minaria will reach out to these spirits beyond and see what she can learn about the noble knight. Give me 12 hours.
Of course. Do you know, I do think that's just about it for the evening. What you got lined up after this?
Plan on going home and imbibing my second shot before I come back out for another round of customers.
Understandable. Excellent. No rest for the
Up and up.
no rest for the up and up, my darling. Excellent. Thank you so much for your time this evening. It's always a pleasure.
I'm aware, but thank you very much for my flowers, but more importantly, thank you very much for my... And there's nothing left on the charcuterie board. Like, you didn't see her eat the cheese, but the cheese is gone. And she kind of returns to the table, or the tableau rather, and she starts to like fix the cards up, and she does a little bit of shuffling. Minaria sees all, knows all, snoops, divines all. As always, Mr. Adorous, your custom is most enjoyable.
Have a good evening, Minaria. Next time I will maybe eschew the flowers in favour of some spirits.
I absolutely would appreciate some seafoam vodka. But that's only if you can muster it up. It's very good for my bones in this weather.
Of course. Divine. Kisses.
Mwah.
He steps out.
When she goes to mwah, there's a very powerful smell of meat and cheese off her breath. You're heading out?
Yeah.
And from here, the plan is to...
Head home.
You make your way across the city. You're heading closer to Crown Gate in the northwest of Galeshire. And while not a strictly residential area, it's a lot of public offices, some of the embassies and stuff for here. It is a good place to plant yourself or have plants in. And along the way, you get the odd nod or look from a friend, a client, a contact here and there, all quite happy to see you. You maneuver down a small street, His Majesty's Bow, and a small doorway with a flight of stairs leads straight up, and there's a heavy black iron door with a steel handle. You take a key from your purse, press it into the handle. It unlocks and you wave a hand across it and the magic subsides. You press the door open and you are standing in your parlor somewhere else. The door shuts behind you. The place is warm. It's lit with an air of amour. It's just that sort of lovely, warm, relaxing glow about the place. And you hear your footsteps kind of echo around. You see the towers of books, stacks of paper, the writing desk that you sit at, your drinks cabinet filled to the brim. And for the first time in weeks, you just let your shoulders sag and your wings fall and just your whole body relaxes.
He sighs deeply, smiles broadly in a way that he doesn't usually, because crow's feet, and just kind of relishes it for a little bit before getting up, going over and corking a bottle of wine and pouring himself out a glass. Okay, maybe I'll just line up some new clothes and just check. He just goes to check and see if there's any messages or anything been left for him. Or
when you uncork the wine, the aroma hits you immediately. It's an expensive bottle from a vineyard that no longer exists, and you technically are not supposed to have this bottle. You were paid for a job, but they kind of stiffed you on the cost, so you stiffed them on one of the bottles, and it's a little treat to yourself. As you take in the bouquet of lava peaches and macadamia nuts with some cardamom at the end of it, you let it kind of wash over it, and music just starts to play around the parlor. It's just again, it's just another spell that kicks into place, and it's soft, melodic tones, strings from a violin unseen. And then enough of that kind of like melting and sitting and dwelling. It's work and messages. You move to the front entrance, in quotation marks. And there's a small little side table. There's a little metal basket, and the basket is empty. All the envelopes are sitting on a side table, opened.
His brow furrows and he kind of rubs his temple, takes a swig, and just falls silent for a moment, just long enough to ensure that there's no one there presently except himself.
Give me a perception check.
I will use my inspiration on this.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
You don't move into the entranceway. It's just that your eyes glance at the gold metal basket that sits in front of the letterbox where the mail gets caught. You don't have a helper, you don't have a butler, you don't have a maid, and the spells don't do the mail for you. It's like one of those little chores that everybody just kind of gets a little bit of enjoyment out of, and this is one of yours. As you stand looking at it, there is that moment of the breath you had taken, you hold, and you listen. The music is a warble. You can taste those lava peaches at the back of your throat from the wine. And there is the slightest movement of air behind you, just behind your left ear. And you get the trickling sensation of void magic. And from the corner of your eye, you see a figure step into your lair, your parlor, your home, uninvited. And they pull back a long black and purple velour hood, and a tangle of silver and pink hair spills out. The Empress has arrived. Good evening, Cael.
Good evening, Miss Izzidrim. I wasn't aware you had my address.
It's amazing what you can learn if you cross a palm with just enough gold.
I'm familiar with the concept.
You learn even more if you take the palm away from the hand.
I'm familiar with the concept. You made it out okay. Any scans are kind of for any sign of noticeable injury or stress?
She looks perfect. There's not a blemish. There's nothing. She's perfectly fine.
Yeah. No, you came through that all right.
You, and she kind of looks you up and down, seem to have been caught at the edges, just a little.
Oh, look, that's life on the road for you, isn't it? And trying to keep the traveling companions in line, little scamps. You know all about it.
Of course. Most glad that Fia came to no harm.
Me too, actually. Funnily enough. I had the misfortune of misplacing the memory of our last meeting, so...
Oh. So you forgot?
Yeah, that's a bit of a mundane way of putting it, but yes.
I'm afraid, Cael, this isn't a social call. There's two things I've come here to tell you.
Two friends?
The first, and she flicks her hand, and again there's purple and black smoke that just kind of washes out, and she's holding a gold-plated card, and you recognize the symbol of the Hanged Man. My daughter has arrived carefully in Galeshire.
That she has.
No harm befouled her?
No harm, no physical harm. Although, have you seen the young suitor?
I have. I think Aegelius is quite a nice fit for Fia.
He's a fine young man.
He is, for now. I take it you have an opinion?
On everything, but you don't need to hear it. I don't want to
also
bore you.
Don't care for it.
Of course.
If my daughter is happy, that's all that matters.
Well, I'll keep you posted.
Not a toast to young love?
You'd have to be young to enjoy young love, wouldn't you?
I rescind my order. And the card literally just turns to ash and dissipates. Your neck is safe.
For now.
That tongue of yours, it's going to get you in a lot of trouble, Cael. The second matter, I'm taking up enough of your time and you've things to do. The tarot, we've received a request. And not one of your, and she gestures at the little envelopes. Not just some paltry job. A big one. And, well, I've called for a reading.
You've called for a reading?
Well, this would affect the entire organization.
I was worried you just couldn't handle it on your own, but...
The issue isn't whether I'm capable of carrying out the task, and I assure you, I am most capable of carrying it out. It's whether or not we wish to take on this request. It's one that could plunge, well, the entire kingdom into disarray. The world, in fact. So I felt it pertinent to share it with all of you, that we would all have a say on whether I would take this job.
Well, I will say, if it's to do with the meat they're churning out down there in the district there, then I'm all for it. I think you should absolutely you should step in.
You might wrap yourself in little witticisms, Cael. You might like to blanket yourself in your humor and shield yourself from the world. Those of us who actually take the organization seriously and what it is that we are aiming to do, well, we are meeting at the end of next week. I have called all standing members to attend. All are coming. Some have even arrived in the city.
I've heard.
I figured I'd deliver the news to you personally, so that you wouldn't miss the invitation.
Of course. No, how could I? And he looks over at his pile of open mail. Yes, of course. I wouldn't want to misplace it, or it's so easy for things to get lost and rifled through. And
Even I think those jobs, and she gestures, beneath your talents, Cael. I actually have a job for you.
He bites the inside of his cheek and waits for an insult.
Well, I will be arguing that we take this task on. And I've deemed you worthy to be the devil's advocate. You, my friend, will have to argue against me and why we should take this task on.
He purses his lips. Well, there go my weekend plans.
Up all night writing a long, grand speech, no doubt. It's quite a simple matter, really. I have been contacted with a mission. Another target. Slightly higher profile than the usual. You'll be arguing whether or not I should assassinate King Dreyfus.
He reaches back and pushes his hair back behind his ear. Yes. So, the Warwick visage is a real possibility then.
Well, it would be very easy to leave some indication that the assassin came from Visage, of course, but that wasn't what I was tasked to do. I was simply tasked to have the king removed. Where the blame lies, well, that's the client's decision. You have a week. I look forward to hearing what you have to say.
So do I.
Best get writing then. And she just holds a hand up and smoke just warps around her. And she steps back into it.
The music slowly starts to overtake the sound of the blood rushing through Cael's ears. And that looseness that he'd had in his shoulders and the tension that it was leaving his body, he's found has started to creep right back up. And he indelicately tips back the rest of the glass, not savoring it whatsoever. Takes his mail, lies down on the bed, and kind of half-heartedly reads it as he begins to really desperately search for reasons not to kill a person.
You're going through letters. A lot of them are just requests for you to kill people or have people, word spread around, again, they're the jobs. They're just jobs that have been posted to you, requests for your expertise in the area of whispering and stirring. As you browse through your mail, and again, it is simply a way of trying to distract your mind, and it's very, very difficult to distract what Una has just dropped on your lap. You hear a key turning in the door, and outside there's a throng of people, like kind of clambering. And it's like, yes, I am Cael Adorous, the hero of hero. Good night. And the door shuts. Oh, crikey. Oh, God. The boots, my legs, my feet. I can't feel my toes. Oh. And there's just kind of a clattering of the boots kind of coming through. And the space that you're in, you can see beyond it. And where you are and where this person are on the same... They're in the same space, but not the same plane. and you see her stumble in, and like stumble is the word. She's literally like a newborn deer trying to walk in the boots. And what has she done? What has she done? The heels are like 2 inches shorter than they should be. They're a little bit chunk. They're kitten heels. She's wearing kitten heels. There's someone pretending to be you walking around this city wearing kitten heels. Kitten heels. Even worse, kitchen heels. She looks like she's wearing Crocs. Yeah, there's that need of I need to get out of here. And as you gather up a few bits and pieces and you brace yourself for heading out into the night air, you take a look back at your home, and that comfort, that warmth, it's harder to find and hold. And as you say goodbye to it and you lift the window, and you're like, I'm crawling out of my own house through a window. If Hephaesta could see me now, you shudder and slip out into the night, making your way back to the Grand Galeshire Hotel. You've been listening to Romancing the Dungeon with Sam, Amber, Louise, James, Ben, and me, Declan, your Dungeon Master. I do these every 2 weeks. It's a bit weird. We're back for another episode of Romancing the Dungeon in 2 weeks' time. Until then, if you have 20 seconds to spare, we would love if on whatever platform you are listening to this podcast, if you would give us a 5-star review. That's going to really help us reach a bigger audience and get more listens, and who knows what that might mean for us in the future. We're talking merch, we're talking events, we're talking, I don't know, we're talking pipe dreams. Big thank you as always to Ghost of Red Mountain for our theme song Haunted. Title card and artwork is by Ralph is Redacted. Did you catch the new character artwork that dropped there like a week ago, like a little while ago, like depending on what date this came out, a while ago? Amazing artwork from Kate Flynn of Red and Flynn, publishers and creators of Nevermore comics over on Webtoon. Strongly suggest you check out that amazing gothic romance webcomic series. If you want to see more kind of stuff that we're doing and things happening behind the scenes and any upcoming events, make sure you are following us on social media at D8Dungeon on all the big channels. There's a pretty cool Discord server with some amazing folks out there. Why not drop in, chat to some of the cast, make new friends, find a table to play at. And until then, I hope you have a great week, great fortnight, and stay cool. See you in 2 weeks.
So AJ, this is my mom. She wants to assassinate your boss.
Look, that happens all the
This is like Ross and Rachel.
Murder.
It's only one step away from love.